No, it's funny you say that. I was literally just saying that. I was like, oh, maybe now I can just enjoy it. Because I'm like, yeah, I've done it all, right? Like, no. But yeah, I'm taking it all in. I'm trying to enjoy the people around me and just enjoy different opportunities. I mean, this is a break from training, something different. Get all the media done. Don't have to break from training again. It's just, I don't know, it's fun. I just try to pass along knowledge, and just get people comfortable performing at their best. I try to perform at my best. We try to do it all at the same time, on the same day, in a gold medal game. We're good, right? It's just that simple. But yeah, no, I've definitely changed. I think at the core, the root, the person I am, I really love playing hockey. I love being around our team. I really cherish those moments. I love winning, and those things haven't changed, which is nice.
There can't be a better rivalry than U.S.-Canada. I mean,
yeah.
You think about all of the...
It's pretty good, yeah.
You think about all of the games that you've been a part of.
Yeah, I mean, in like historic games, right? Just, yeah, it's an awesome rivalry. It's so spicy out there. I mean, I know you can feel it when you're in the stadium or in the venue. I'm sure you can feel it through the TV screens. Like, it's just like, it brings something out of you, and it's the best level of competition when you see best on best.
In one word, if I say, what do you think of Canada? What's your word to respond?
I can't get close to sport material. You guys are setting me up for failure here.
I'll give you 3 words. You can say 3 words. How do you feel about Canada?
It gets spicy. Yeah. I think I welcome the opportunity, right? And it's not one that I take lightly because, it's intimidating to ask someone for advice and to ask someone who's been around for a long time, what do you think of this, But, yeah, I just remember when I was a kid in the team and the Angela Ruggieros and the Jenny Potters, and when I would seek them out for advice, like how I was holding on to every single word they were saying and how important that was. So I try to have that mindset of, this is I need to take a minute and really spend time and give a solid nugget there. I think you can promote peace through sport, and I think that's the Olympic Charter, right, is trying to galvanize the world together for those moments of sport. And while we're competing on the world stage, there's different levels of camaraderie and sportsmanlike conduct that really get ourselves out of sort of that hamster wheel that we're running in our own spaces, which is, I think, healthy. Yeah. Technical term, hamster wheel. No, I'm kidding.
I call it.
Yeah, I mean, opening ceremony is always special. I always look forward to that. There's just something about marching out with Team USA that's just so powerful, and you're almost on the brink of tears because you're like, this is just so special. But I don't know, I geek out. I love watching everyone compete. We are seeing the best athletes in the world, best on best in every single sport, and that is so fun. So probably getting to live competitions, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Canadians?
Yeah, it's definitely a rival, and I think it's the greatest rivalry in all sports. It's a fierce rivalry. Well, I think when you look at the history, a lot of the gold medals, whether it's the World Championships or the Olympic Games, have been between the U.S. and Canada. And constantly being at the top, vying for the top and trying to, we want what each other has, or, we're trying to keep what we have, and, whatever the case is, that's what makes it so great. It's the state of hockey. And, it seems like every other kid you talk to picks up a pair of skates at some point in their life and, tries the sport. So growing up, I have an older brother, and a rink opened up in our town, and my parents signed him up for all different sports, being the firstborn in our family, everything, baseball, karate, and then hockey. My parents stumbled upon the rinks, signed him up for Learn to Skate. I came along 3 years later, and I started watching him play, and I'm like, well, I don't want to just sit here. I want to play. Well over 30 years ago, the girls that were in the rink were either figure skating or they were watching their brothers play, and I was watching my brothers play. So I said, I want to play. My parents got me figure skates, and I love figure skating. I absolutely love figure skating, but it wasn't what my brother was doing. I was on this ice sheet, and he was on this ice sheet, and I was like, no, I want to do that. And so after a week in figure skates, I cried as much as a 3-year-old can, and That's a lot. My parents got me hockey skates, and I haven't looked back since. So I really started because my older brother got into it. And my parents had no idea what they were getting themselves into, I can tell you that much. I think, now being a parent myself, it's like, it's so admirable to take a step back and recognize what my parents did so that I could pursue my dream. From my mom giving up her career so that I could pursue mine, to both my parents working multiple jobs and doing anything they can to afford us the opportunity to play hockey. And there were definitely hard days, but they always found a way to make sure that we could play the game that we loved.
You mentioned you're a parent, you're a wife, and your husband has Johnny and I are out of Denver, has a little tie to the Broncos.
Yes, yeah. He played for the Broncos for 3 years and was fortunate to be on the Super Bowl 50 team, and yeah, we loved our time in Denver. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was lined for Peyton Manning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a sports family.
I guess so. We love sports. We'll see if our son does or not. We're not going to force him into play sports. I think both of us realize the incredible opportunities that sports have brought us, and know that sports are so much more than winning and losing. It's the experiences, the people you meet, the places you go, just the incredible opportunities that come through playing the game you love. So we'll see what he ends up wanting to do if it's within sport. Mom and dad will support him. I think that's what I'm so excited about going to the Olympic Games. It's the spirit of the games. It brings the world together through sport, and you feel it, you see the athletes watching each other, supporting each other, and I think when you turn on the Olympic Games, it brings the world together in such a magnificent way, and I'm excited to get back on that platform and that stage.
So first off, what is the preparation like going into an Olympic year? Does it feel a little bit different now, the practice?
Yeah, I think, you definitely see the urgency, and once we get into games starting on Thursday, you'll just see the competitiveness a little bit different and a different level of intensity. But I think in most years past with the Olympics, we've been in a traditional residency where it's you're living and training together all the time. And now with the PWHL taking off, the landscape of it definitely looks different. But I think we've seen each other every couple of weeks. So you still have the traditional feel, but I think it's different now that games are a little bit closer. I think it's challenging, but also it's nice to go home and be work with the coaches that we normally work with on a day-to-day basis, and be okay, these are areas that I need to continue to get better at, or things this is what's going well, and kind of build your portfolio. And I think that's something that each one of us has taken individual pride in. And it's definitely fierce. I think you'll see the physicality take a whole nother level, and I think that's just something when both teams step on the ice, it's almost like a do or die mentality, and I think everyone takes so much pride in US or Canada, and I think that gets put on display when we hit the ice. COVID was a factor last time with the COVID testing every single day, and I think this is now that you're I'm not having to worry about testing positive, but can just focus on the hockey aspect. And in Italy, it's such a dream location that I think a lot of people are excited for it.
What do you remember from that first Olympics? Do you remember anything, or was you just kind of black out the whole time?
Kind of blacked out. The opening and closing ceremonies are two of my favorite memories, because it's I feel those are kind of the iconic Olympic experiences where you're I watched this as a kid and now I'm in that position. And obviously the hockey was super memorable. Wish that we could have won a gold in that, but I think it made our group hungrier come this time around. At that stage, it's a 60-minute game and it's a game of bounces, and I think that's something that what can you do adding up to give yourself the best chance to win? Obviously it's a game at the end of the day, but I think falling short in 2022, it makes us that much hungrier come this time around.
You guys have a good balance of experienced players who have played in the games like that and have dealt with the pressure. Have you given any advice to some of the younger girls who are coming from college?
I think they've all handled it super well. I don't think we're at that stage quite yet, but I think it's something that you're oh my gosh, it's the Olympics, and kind of almost hit the panic button, but it's something to remember. We've all played the game for so long, and to enjoy it at the same time, even though it's a lot of pressure filled. I think if you enjoy it, everyone will play at their best hockey.
We're from Cleveland, obviously. Laila's from Cleveland.
Yeah.
What is it? Has she talked about being home at all for the rivalry?
We give her a hard time. We're the princess of Cleveland is here, but I know, I think she's just super excited. We're like, how many fans do you have coming? And she's like, I don't know. Like, but it's so super cool for her to come back here and play. I think always those like hometown stories are super cool. She's so versatile. I mean, you look at her and playing college a few years ago and like forward to defense, and I mean, you do whatever she's asked of you, and I would say she's the ultimate teammate, like funny, easy to be around, and I think just like brings the morale of the group up. I mean, like she has like the most patience with the puck. I'm like, I don't know how she's still holding on to the puck, but she still somehow has it on her stick, and I mean, her release is one of the best in the world. So when she gets the puck in the slot, usually more times than not, it's going to end up in the goal.
So what is it like to play in the Olympic Games and represent Team USA?
Yeah, you know, it never gets old. I think, you know, whether it's your first or your fifth or however many you've been to, I think it's something special, and, you know, definitely, you know, want to make that possible and, you know, hopefully make this team heading to Milan. Personally, I think anytime you go to one of these events, and any event you go to, your main goal is to win. So whether it was last year or 2 years ago, whether you win every year, I think, you know, looking forward to the next one, you always want to win it. Definitely different this year, knowing that the Olympics are on the horizon as opposed to a traditional, you know, series that we have leading up to a World Championship. So, you know, I think everybody knows what is in February, and it adds a little bit more pressure. You really can't describe it. It's like I said before, it just never gets old putting this sweater on, no matter how many times you've worn it. And you know, I've been really fortunate enough to do it for a long time, and you know, hopefully some more years to come. I think over the years I've kind of learned from all the leaders that have come before me. I've been around here for a long time, and I've had some tremendous leaders, and you know, I think I've tried to learn their styles and formulate my own. And then yeah, just being one of the older players on the team, I've had some experiences that other people have not. So yeah.
Do you remember your first Olympics? What were the feelings like before that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really remember much because I was just so like in awe. And yeah, no, I remember it being really special, but you know, the details are fuzzy because you're just trying to get through it and have fun and you know, try to win. So
have you told that to some of the younger girls who are going to be making their first appearance? I'm sure their mind's probably going to be in a million different places.
Yeah, I haven't told them that I don't remember anything from it because that's a little scary, but just told them to enjoy it. You know, even not look too far ahead. I think you know, the process is also a fun one, even though it's stressful at times. It's fun to look back on and know the steps that you went to make it to that point.
Talk about the USA-Canada rivalry. Do you think it's the greatest rivalry in all sports?
Might be biased, but I think it is. Yeah, it's, you know, even with the men, it's just something that you know, blood boils sometimes on the ice and even off the ice. So I think, yeah, it's definitely one of the greatest rivalries. I think over the years I've become a little bit of both. Not traditionally the rah-rah type, but I think you know, I've had to adapt and learn to become more of a talkative leader as well.
What is it like competing in the Olympics? Do you feel like the intensity is different in the year leading up to it?
Absolutely. I think it gets more intense every year you get closer to it, and then even like the difference between Olympic Games and a World Championship game is, it's crazy how much different it is for the teams really being the same, right? It's a lot of the same teams in the same tournament. So I think that's something that can't be understated, as it is different, and it feels more important, and it is. It's something that is just such a global event that there are more eyeballs on it, more eyeballs that aren't necessarily hockey fans, but become hockey fans, become, you know, they're part of Team USA, right? So it's just such a special, you know, event to be a part of, and I think, again, as I've gotten older, it's more and more impactful. I think coming into 2018, I was 20, somewhat like around that. I was young, right? So I come in, I don't really know what to expect, and you're just following the lead of so many other people, and that was such a dream come true, winning that gold medal. And I think going to 22 in Beijing, it was a different experience. Obviously, COVID was around. The Olympics felt different as games as a whole, right? And I think hockey-wise, you don't get complacent, but I didn't know what it was like to not win up until that point. And I think now, having both experiences, I am far hungrier to make sure our team is getting the outcome we want and doing all the steps it takes to get there. I think also appreciating more and more like how special it is to be a part of this team and to have the opportunity and the chance to represent your country at the Olympics. I think it means, you know, just that much more to me now. I remember far more from the losses, really. Like, I think it carries with you more. Like, the excitement of winning was, you know, I remember how that felt, that moment that Maddie Rooney saved that last penalty shot. We're all rushing onto the ice. Like, I remember how that felt, but really like the thing that sits with me on a more daily basis is the loss, and feeling how our team, you're just going through all well, what if we did this? What could happen to this? Like all those scenarios that if they were different, how does that game look? And I think the great thing is having another opportunity to do it differently.
Do you talk about that with some of the younger girls? Because being an experienced person in your third Olympics, you guys have some girls on the team who this will be their first, kind of like what you were.
I don't think so, because I think that was something that our veterans in 2018, who they had gone through heartbreak in 2014 and 2010, and some of them even in 2006 or in 2010 was the earliest with Hilary. So they had been through heartbreak though before, and they knew going to 2018, they're like, they did so much work from 2014 to 2018 to change the direction of our program, and I think there was a stretch where we won 5 world championships in a row in that kind of time from 2015 probably to 2019. And that was all of those veterans. And what they really did is they acknowledged kind of the downfalls of where the team was at and the program was at, but also embraced the new players that didn't have the baggage, they didn't have the scar tissue of losing these big games. And they relied on us in those moments too, to be players that, hey, you guys are fresh into this. You don't have the fear that we have. You're coming in and you're just so excited. And so I think as much as anything, you want to feed off their excitement and channel it. And I think the biggest thing is, again, just emphasizing that the Olympics is different because it's not just us in a tournament. It's us in a tournament, a part of this huge global event that you should be able to take in. So how do you balance, staying focused on what we're doing with our games, but also enjoying and taking in the Olympics as a whole?
Yeah, that's really good perspective there. Talk about the USA-Canada rivalry. It runs pretty deep.
Yeah, and I think it's keeps getting deeper, and I think it's, again, as it gets closer to Olympic Games, things ramp up, the intensity ramps up. Again, we're all trying to make, teams, and there's a lot of tension that comes through, and I think now with the PWHL as well, it adds to it and builds, because there might be underlying things, whether it's from league games to now national team games and back and forth. So the level of hockey is the best it's ever been, and I also think the compete and the competition level of the rivalry, but also the respect. I think that is what makes it so great, is at the end of the day, it's each team trying to push ourselves to be the best, ultimately pushing each other as well. I mean, you look at it with all of our younger players in the team, the abilities of what they can do on the ice, it's amazing to see, and it's because I think of all the players that are even before me, really, that have helped set this foundation of girls and women's hockey. And I grew up through middle school playing boys hockey, and now all these are they get to play girls hockey, and it's just such high level quality hockey. And people that have since retired that go back into coaching and do all those things to help promote it. And again, with now having the PWHL, I think it just is going to keep ramping everything up, and it gives people more opportunities to say, I want to be a hockey player, and I can be.
What is the preparation like going into an Olympic year? Does it feel different than other years?
It definitely feels different. I think an Olympic year in general is special, and this Olympic year is different than any we've had before. So the intensity always is just ramped up, and to be here together with this group, we're training for something that's so close. It's not distant anymore. It's what we've been waiting for, and we're excited to get those games going. It's definitely a lot of kind of stress and intensity as you get ready for this. We're all trying to make this team. But that team is going to an Olympics, and you want that team to win gold whether you're there or not. So showing up and being here and being present and learning as much as we can, getting good chemistry together, doing all the prep we have in the time we have so that we're ready to go once those games start. I think the way we all gel together, both on the ice and off the ice, I feel like it's really great chemistry. We've changed things around. Everyone's gotten to play with different people, and everyone's been able to do that. So we're getting on the same page, and I think really starting to figure out what clicks and build upon that. I know I was lucky to have some really great vets and leaders when I was young, so to put myself back in those shoes and remember how much was unknown, and the unknown can lead to stress and just worrying about things, and so being able to answer any questions and not convince, but remind these girls that they're here for a reason, to trust themselves. They have what it takes, and they're phenomenal hockey players and great people, so figuring out what we need to be doing together so that everyone's feeling confident, hopefully as a team together.
Having not won gold in 2022, do you feel hungrier this time around?
Yeah, I mean, the loss always sucks, and it stays with you for quite a while. So you have to learn from it. You have to kind of carry it with you and remember what that feels like, but you can't be playing, in my opinion, to not lose. We have to want to win that gold, to be chasing that feeling and striving for that feeling and believing that we can do it.
What do you remember more, the win or the loss?
I don't know. I feel like I remember sometimes more details from the losses, but that feeling of winning, you get to carry that with you forever. It's really hard to put into words because it's just surreal. You can't quite believe it happened and that you've done it, and you're just in that moment, and it's like nothing else is there, and you're sharing it with some, people that you love on that ice. So it is good to know what that feeling's like, but it is really hard to describe it if you haven't done it. Luckily, so many girls have won at all these other levels. They know what they're striving for, and it's just sort of an exponential feeling when it's an Olympic gold. There's a lot of history within that rivalry, and so they're a great team. Obviously, we have a lot of respect for them. In those games, we know that they're going to be intense. We know each other almost too well. You know exactly what to expect. So it starts off, if it's a rivalry, these are, some people call them friendly games leading up to an Olympics, but it'll feel like everything's on the line. But that's good to get that sort of intensity and practice under that intensity.
First question, why goalkeeper? I feel like it's a position you get these rubber pucks flung at you like crazy. Why goalkeeper?
I feel like a lot of kids have a story like, oh, I just like the equipment, or I had an older sibling that needed someone to shoot against. And I don't really remember what my story was. I have an older brother, but he didn't need someone to shoot on. I just wanted to play. I always kind of was drawn to the position, house league. Every 2 minutes you switch goalies, and I'd always try to be goalie. My dad and my mom hated it, and I guess me being the little annoying kid that I was, that was an added benefit, so I was always kind of drawn to the position.
I love it. And then we were told a little hot tip. So you're reverse glove. So you go right-hand glove, left-hand blocker, right?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? That's not typical, is it?
No, it's just because I'm left-handed.
Okay.
And I guess, probably not every left-handed goalie plays backwards. It's something I've been wondering about recently, but I'm backwards. So playing for Team USA has always been a dream of mine, and it's really cool to do it in my home state. I don't think I've played in Ohio since I was, in high school. So it's really special to play this close to home, and like I said, I'll have some friends and family up in the fan section that probably haven't seen me play ever, and this is the closest I've been to them, so they're able to come. Just a lot of nerves, a lot of excitement, not quite there yet, but it's been a long lead up, and I think we've all been having a lot of fun this summer training for that. Eyes on the prize kind of gold medal game. So it's been a lot of fun, and then you're mixing in with the PWHL season. There's just a lot of hockey coming up, and I know I'm really excited.
Have you thought about what it would be like to maybe have that gold medal around your neck?
Do you push for that? Do you think of that, or do you kind of keep your nose to the grindstone kind of thing? So I've been trying not to, envision that too much. That's obviously the goal, but there's a lot to do to get there, and that's the end result. But there's a lot of things between now and then to work on. There's a lot of experience in the room, and I think we're all looking to some of those older vets to guide us through this. We're all new to the PWHL, IHF kind of world, so navigating that. But yeah, there's so many great vets on the team to guide us, and even within the goaltending group, none of us have been to the Olympics, but I think we're all just kind of leaning on each other and the experience that we do have to build a strong group between the three of us. Yeah, that's the best rivalry in women's sports. I think it's so much fun to play against them. They're no shift is a soft shift. Everyone's going 100%. And it's really fun because now we know them on a personal level. We play with them, and we're on the same team as some of them, and then we come here and all alliances are cut for these 2 games and this weekend. So it's just so fun. It's the best hockey I've ever played. It's the best hockey you can watch, and it's just, that rivalry brings out the best in all of us.
So do you have teammates that are going to be on Team Canada?
Yeah, I definitely do.
So you don't have to name.
Yeah, they actually might not be here these games.
Friendly wagers and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like we're all skating together in the summer, and then when we go to our respective camps, we all just kind of cut each other off. Enemies.
So you said your brother played for the Cleveland Monsters. When was that?
Yeah, he did. I think it was 2 years ago. For a few years he was here. So since I was at Ohio State, I could make the drive to come watch him play whenever I had some off time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys, big hockey family.
Yeah.
Obviously, what was it like growing up playing?
Oh, very competitive.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't ice hockey, we were competitive.
If it was board games, we would fight over who was cheating. But it was fun. I think they would say I'm the most competitive, which is kind of surprising, but I guess I am.
So what is the difference between an Olympic year versus non-Olympic year? Do you feel like it's different?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think just how it's planned out with the top 30 and the camps and whatnot. I think it's just a huge honor in the first place is really what you feel, and then you kind of just get into it and you feel like, all right, this is the new normal, and you got girls doing it around you, so you don't, like, it feels different, but since you got a couple with you, you're like, all right, let's just do it.
What's the anticipation like?
That's a really good question. I don't know how to quite describe it. Like, it feels different the more camps we go to, a little more comfortable, but like still the same intensity of you want to make this Olympic team, you want to do everything possible. Like, even when you're away from the camps, you're thinking about what you can do for the next camp kind of thing. So I think it's just navigating that, because it's such a new year. They used to do centralizations, and now we have some camps, so it's just all new. Something I've really taken away, especially being younger, is I'm always learning something new from somebody else, from what coach is teaching us. So I'm just in a very great spot to just learn, to keep developing. And so, yeah, every time I'm like someone who's not my style of play, I'm like really watching them, seeing what they're doing, what makes them great, hoping to add as much as I can to my game. I think it's similar to everyone else. Like, it's been a dream since you were very little. I remember I have a 3rd grade poster of like, what's your goal someday? And it was like, play in the Olympics. And so I think just to be actually living it and pursuing that right now is just a huge honor and a blessing. Like, I'm just so grateful to be here and don't want to just take it for granted how much better I get to get despite whether I make it or not.
What kind of advice has some of the players on the team given you?
I think they all just say to enjoy it too, like to play to your game, like know what your identity is and to play to that, because everyone was picked in the top 30 for something they do specifically, and so playing to that and just enjoying it, like it's such an opportunity to just be here and to learn. And so yeah, people talk about it when you're outside looking in, you hear people talking about it and you think you know, but then you're in it and then you're like, oh, okay, like this is awesome. And I think I could compare it to like Ohio State, Michigan, because I go to Ohio State. I'm like, it's like that. Like, people are so intense and like there is hatred of like we are winning. Like, there's so much pride people have in their country to be, and so it's just, I love the intensity and the competitiveness. I think you just kind of have to separate it of just like you play for your team when you're Ohio State and you play for USA, and your team, like, you know, you might butt heads, but leave it there. Like, it's a whole different ball game when you're here. And so I think just like knowing that. Sometimes it's funny, like a couple of them gave me like a one-timer pass, we were just messing around, and I was like, what a goal for Ohio State to beat like Wisconsin, Minnesota, and they're like, and they gave me high fives, like, I can't believe we just gave you a high five for that. Like, we like to tease each other a little bit, but usually we just kind of leave that at the door.
Yeah, a little friendly banter.
Yeah, I think people used to think nerves are bad, but someone told me like nerves make you feel alive, so I think they're great. I think if you're not nervous for things like this, it's a little weird, but I think you can be nervous and confident at the same time, and so as I've gotten older, I've started to navigate that a little more with a lot of help, and so yeah.
Yeah, the first memory I have of being on skates was at the Cleveland Heights Rec Center. I was playing cross-ice hockey with a couple other 4-year-olds, maybe 5-year-olds. And I remember my good friend Peter, I was playing with him too. But yeah, that's my first memory as far as being on skates. And whenever someone mentions Cleveland or Cleveland Heights, I get super excited because I don't think it's talked about enough. I think Cleveland's an awesome city, and then especially Cleveland Heights, it's so cool, it's very unique. It's diverse, there's so many good things about it that I think if more people got to see it, they would love it. So yeah, I get really excited when I hear people talk about Cleveland. My dad always had a plan, so he started me in figure skating because he knew that the transition to hockey would be easier that way, which as a 3-4-year-old, I had no idea. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm a figure skater and I'm also gonna be a hockey player. But eventually my dad was like, all right, it's time for just hockey. But yeah, figure skating definitely helped me transition to hockey, you know, and I wasn't big on the figure skating outfits anyway, so that worked out for me. I didn't like the tutus and the one pieces, the leotards wasn't my thing. I was more of a tomboy, so with hockey I could wear whatever I wanted. But yeah, that journey was really interesting. One day I just stopped figure skating and it was all hockey. I visited this boarding school in Rochester, New York when I was in 7th grade. It was December, I remember, and I immediately fell in love with it. I thought, all the girls there were so cool, the dorms were super nice, the lunch food was good, which I was really happy about. I was huge on food. And then the practice was really fun, the coach was great, and I was really excited. Yeah, when I get home on the rare occasion, first things first, I gotta see my family, my grandma's. So I like to play cards with my mom's mom, and then I like to get brunch with my dad's mom. So those are a priority, and then I see my nephews, my siblings, obviously I stay with them. And then I've got to go to the Cleveland Heights Rec Center and skate with usually my siblings and then Coach Robinson, and sometimes my dad gets out there, which is really funny, and then I'll work out in the same building. Then I've got to go to some sort of coffee shop, either Phoenix Coffee, Rising Star, or what else is there? Honestly, any coffee shop. I like to get coffee sometimes with my dad just to hang out, and those are the first things that come to my mind. I mean, for starters, my freshman year, it was a crazy year, and then we won the national championship. I was on the team with my sister, so I won my first national championship while she won her second, and that was really cool. And then we had another year together, made it to the finals, and we lost, which was tough. It was her last year, but looking back on it, she had a very successful career in college, and then I was still on a great path. And then my junior year, this past year, we had a crazy year, an unbelievable year, and then we won again, which was awesome. So, it's like 2 out of 3 years, have been very, very successful. And so you really want to get that third one, because 3 is better than 2. But yeah, my 3 years in college so far have been awesome, especially being able to have 2 of them with my sister was really special. It made it easy for my parents to visit 2 people at once in one place. But yeah, I say my career's been crazy so far, and I'm hoping to get another national championship. I mean, the feeling of winning was probably the best moment I've ever felt, because you work so hard all year, and we've gone through so many ups and downs, lost games we shouldn't have, had bad games, bad practices, team drama, all that stuff. And then you get through it, and it's like you win, and it was all worth it. All the hard work, the early mornings, it paid off, and you got to do it among some of your best friends, and for me, among my sister. Yeah, it's cliche, but I would not be here without them. There's no question. They've all made so many sacrifices to get me here, and it's been a long road. Hockey's an expensive sport. It's a unique sport. It's not the most popular sport, especially for a minority. So I think they've sacrificed a lot of things and done what they can to get me here. From my dad taking us to early morning sessions before school at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., and then to my mom taking us to tournaments, taking off work. There's so many things I can think of, and my siblings who have pushed me to be the best player and person I can be, which I think I've done for them as well. So family's meant everything, and is my big motivation to keep going in this sport. I mean, to have the opportunity to be an Olympian is crazy just to even say out loud. It's something I've dreamt of since 2014 when I was watching Team USA in the finals. So I think it's just crazy to think about, and to be on that path, to have that opportunity. It's wild, and there's so many things you have to sacrifice and so many things you have to do to get here, and to be here is incredible, and not quite there yet, but to have the opportunity, it's like you said, every 4 years it's the best of the best. It's the greatest sporting event in the world. I think it's surreal. Yeah, I mean, when I'm laying in bed at night and can't sleep, I picture those rings, the Olympic rings, and having the opportunity to see them up close, and to have a gold medal around your neck standing on the podium. It almost feels like that's what I should be seeing when I close my eyes in my dream, but it's reachable now, and to have that opportunity, it's crazy. It gets my mind spinning and eventually puts me to sleep. Team Canada is a great team. I mean, they're the other half of one of the greatest rivalries in the world. So I think I have a lot of respect for them, but also a lot of resentment, of course. But yeah, at the end of the day, game respects game, so there's no line that they're a good team and a proud federation, but I think at the end of the day, it's hard to like them. I couldn't believe it when I found out the rivalry series was here in Cleveland. I mean, I've never am gonna play a game as meaningful in Cleveland because it's the biggest rivalry at the highest level. And I think it's so cool just to bring it here and to have so many family and friends come and see me hopefully succeed at the highest level is so cool to even think about. And just to bring my teammates here and just to show them around where I grew up is really cool to think about. And I haven't played a game here since high school, so it'll be a crazy feeling that I'm really excited about. Yeah, I definitely think the rivalry series will be very beneficial for us, regardless of the final and the score and how it goes. I think we'll be able to learn a lot about ourselves and our opponent. but especially about ourselves and what we need to work on and what we can get better at by the time February comes, so we don't have to, make those same mistakes or give up those same goals, those same plays. I think it'll be very, very important to take what we can from those games. Even if we lose, if we learn something, it won't be considered a loss, especially if we fix it by February. Yeah, it's totally crazy. I remember my phone was getting blown up saying that I was on the New Heights podcast. And I couldn't believe it. And then my brother was like, yeah, scroll to this time and you'll see it. And I watched it and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, wow. So I think a couple days later, I was like, you know what, I'll just DM Travis and Jason separately saying thanks for the shout out, appreciate it. Not to get anything of it and not thinking they'd respond. And then Travis actually responded. So we had a little bit of a conversation about, where we grew up, who we played for, and we went to the same middle school. And he said it was an honor to have walked the same halls as me, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, he was really nice and supportive, and so I'll always be rooting for him, especially as an athlete being from Cleveland Heights, but now after having more conversations with him, I'm definitely rooting for him now. I went to a few Indians games growing up, never got to go to a Browns game. I went to one Cavs game. But yeah, I was definitely a big fan growing up, especially in 2016 when the Cavs won and the Indians were so close to winning. They didn't win that year, but yeah, I've always been a fan, no matter how bad we are sometimes and how good. Consistent fan for sure. I went to a Guardians game a couple weeks ago. It was fun. Yeah, I enjoy watching them play in person, and I'm hoping to get to a Browns game this year. It might be hard though. The past few years, I've been really keeping up with the WNBA, so to find out recently that they're gonna have a WNBA team here in Cleveland, I was so excited to hear because the growth of the WNBA has been great. And I think it's really helped women's sports in general, and to be able to have that here in Cleveland, I'm really excited. Hopefully I'll catch some games, maybe meet some players, do some sort of collaboration, I don't know, but I'm really excited for 2028. Yeah, growing up, he was Cleveland's hero when I was watching basketball. He carried the city on his back, people would say, which I thought was so cool because throughout all the pressure, he still remained one of the greatest athletes. And I think a lot of people can crumble under that pressure, but he took it and used it to his advantage and really showed out. So I always respected him, and he gets a lot of hate, but he remains to himself, as a family guy, and he just seems like a really good guy, an athlete who I really, really respected. So regardless of him being a male who plays a completely different sport, I still found him to be a role model of mine. When I first found out I was the first black woman to make the national team, I was shocked. I knew that there had been people who played in the past of color, but they were never on the national team, and it never really hit me until my mom told me. And I was like, wow, that's crazy, it's 2024. Who would have thought? So there was a lot of attention around it, media and all that stuff, and at first I was like, whoa, this is a lot. I don't know if I can handle it, but then I was like, this is incredible. I have the opportunity to be a role model to many young athletes, especially hockey players of color. So I was like, given this opportunity, I'm gonna embrace it, because what else is there to do? I can't hide. It is what it is. I'm playing at a high level. So I think to have the opportunity was great, regardless of all the pressure and the attention. To use it in a positive way was my main goal, and I'm still working on doing that. I was in Europe and I was approached by a mom with her 2 kids of color, and they came to every single game, which I thought was so cool, and they stood and waited for me before the games and after the games. And the mom shared with me how she was so grateful to have met me and to have her kids watch me so that they can see people that look like them playing hockey, because they're really into hockey and never saw people that look like them. And so she told me how cool it was that I got to be that for them, and I was extremely emotional and honored by that, because that's a very impactful thing and it meant a lot to me. So I saw them after every game, we took pictures, and it was just so cool to have that opportunity. All the way in Europe, making an impact in Europe was crazy. I think it's already crazy enough to be making an impact in the US. So to do it over in Europe was really meaningful. I would say, experiencing things like walking into a rink and saying the basketball court's that way, say it was, very annoying and tough at the time, but having experienced those microaggressions at a younger age definitely taught me lessons and made me stronger, had me grow thicker skin in a predominantly white sport. So I think definitely has had an impact on the way I approach things today. Yeah, I mean, the games being in Milan coming up, I think it's so cool. I think Italy's beautiful, and especially Milan, which I think the location is very important. So for it to be in such a beautiful place, because you only spend so much time playing in the actual games, and when you have the free time, you want to enjoy it. So I think Milan's a great place to go and enjoy, and all the family that's going to be there, they can enjoy themselves there. And I think it's really cool. I never would have expected to have the Winter Olympics in Milan-Cortina, so I think I'm really excited to have that opportunity. Wearing the sweater with USA on the front is one of the greatest honors. You know, despite what's going on in the country, I think to have the opportunity to represent your country doing what you love at the highest level, I think, well, like 1% people get to do that. It's an awesome opportunity that I don't take for granted. Standing after a competition, hearing the national anthem being played, it's one of the best feelings, because the first time means we won the game, and second, that just means it's just a reminder that you're representing your country. You know, you're a small number of players who are representing a large country and doing it to your best ability. So I think, and then having a country behind you rooting for you, I think it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, knowing I have so many people, even outside of my family, rooting for me in Cleveland is just a great feeling. You know, it gives me another layer of motivation, another reason to be my best as an athlete and a person. So I think it's awesome, and it's just such a good feeling that I'll never ever take for granted. I have thought about what it would be like to participate in the opening ceremony, and it's given me chills, you know, to have the opportunity to be alongside the best athletes in the world. It's crazy to think about. You know, I can run into someone like, I don't even know, like just the amount of people that I could run into is crazy to think about. So yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, I think it's important to take a moment and look back on everything that's happened to get me here. You know, starting out as that little girl in the tutu, put her hockey gear over it, and it's just crazy to think about. And I think it's really important to just stop and reminisce and be grateful, you know, for how far I've come and for how far I'll hopefully keep going. I think the journey's been crazy. You know, there's a lot of people who have helped me get here that I owe thanks to, and that I owe to give my best to every day and make them proud. Team USA to win gold. I mean, Canada's older, they're more experienced, so I think we've got to hone in on learning things and learning them at a fast rate. So when we play in the rivalry series, taking things from it, regardless of the score, just getting better and taking something from every meeting, every film session, every practice, every game. I think that's really important, and learning from our leadership group. And I think once we put all the pieces together, we're a very hard team to beat. You know, you're a small number of players who are representing a large country and doing it to your best ability. So I think, and then having a country behind you rooting for you, I think it's really cool.